announcement by the Secretary General of the United Nations on January 30, 2018 that the border controversy between Guyana and Venezuela would be sent to the International Court of Justice (ICJ) was highly welcomed by President David Granger and demonstrates the realization of a promise he made to Guyanese back in 2015. The head of state, during his address at the opening of the 11th Parliament in June 2015, said while Guyana would strengthen its friendly relations with its neighbors, it will insist on the full implementation of agreements that guarantee Guyana's sovereignty. Then in September 2015, during his address at the UN General Assembly's annual high-level debate, President Granger said that Venezuela's expansionist ambitions could not be allowed to unsettle the principle of inviolability of borders, undermine the tenets of international law, and unravel borders which have been undisturbed for decades. At the 72nd session of the UN General Assembly in New York in September 2017, the President said Guyana looks to the international community to ensure that Venezuela is not allowed to thwart the processes of juridical settlement, which are the clear and agreed path to peace and justice.
The Venezuelan claim persists after 51 years of Guyana's independence. An eminent international tribunal provided a full, perfect, and final settlement 118 years ago in 1899. Venezuela repudiated that arbitral award in 1962 at the Decolonization Committee of this Assembly, as British Guyana, as we were then, strove for its independence. Excellency, Guyana warns the world through this Assembly that peace will be at stake in our region if justice does not become ascendant, not only within Venezuela, but also in respect to its border controversy with Guyana.
During his address at Parliament in November 2017, the head of state said the government has focused all its efforts at reaching a peaceful resolution to the territorial controversy which arose out of the contention by Venezuela that the arbitral award of October 1899 was null. Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenidge, addressing the press back in 2016, stated that Guyana is not prepared to accept anything other than a move to the International Court of Justice to bring a permanent resolution to this matter. Following the UN Secretary General's announcement on January 30, 2018, to refer the Guyana-Venezuela border controversy to the ICJ, President Granger, in a special address to the nation, reiterated that the country remains confident in the correctness of its case.
Guyana's position has always been that the basis of the controversy was a legal question which should be resolved peacefully and conclusively through a legal process. Guyana remains confident in the correctness of its case. Guyana looks forward to the reaffirmation of the validity of the 1899 arbitral award before the International Court of Justice. The controversy arose out of the Venezuelan contention that the arbitral award was null and void. Guyana will take all the necessary steps to ensure that its national patrimony will be protected for all time. Guyana remains committed to the peaceful settlement of disputes, respect for international agreements and treaties, and to maintaining friendly relations with its neighbors. Guyana will pursue the path ahead in furtherance of the preservation of its sovereignty and territorial integrity, with quiet confidence and with the assurance in ever-improving relations with its neighbors.
An official statement was also issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which noted that Guyana has always held the view that the ICJ is the appropriate forum for the peaceful and definitive settlement of the controversy, and is pleased that the view has prevailed under the process developed by the 8th UN Secretary General, Ban Ki-moon, and the incumbent Secretary General, Antonio Guterres. It further stated that Guyana will not allow factors extraneous to the controversy to influence its referral to the court, but it will continue the advancement of peaceful relations with Venezuela, whose people are the brothers and sisters of Guyanese. In this context, Guyana acknowledges the Secretary General's suggestions for the immediate future. The Guyana-Venezuela border controversy began in the second half of the 19th century between Great Britain and Venezuela over the location of the border between its colony of British Guyana and the Spanish-speaking country. This continued until an arbitral tribunal was empaneled in 1897 to determine the borders and issued an arbitral award on October 3, 1899. Following this, a joint commission with representatives from both countries delineated the borders in 1905. For half a century, Venezuela honored this agreement in word and deed. In 1931, a boundary commission comprising representatives from Great Britain, Venezuela and Brazil agreed on a specific point on Mount Roraima where the boundaries of British Guiana, Venezuela and Brazil meet. A concrete marker was erected soon after. The matter was permanently settled. However, in 1962, Venezuela, unilaterally and without any basis or evidence, announced that it regarded the award of 1899 as null and void. By November 1965, a meeting in London between Venezuelan and British representatives and a representative from British Guiana was held. A joint communique stating that both sides should work to find satisfactory solutions for a practical settlement of the controversy, which has arisen as a result of the Venezuelan contention, was issued. In February 1966, the Geneva Agreement was signed by the government of British Guiana, Great Britain and Venezuela. Both Guyana and Venezuela in 1982 requested the United Nations Secretary-General to decide on a method of solution to the controversy. The Secretary-General chose the Good Offices process in 1990. By 2014, the UN Good Offices process was declared exhausted by Guyana. Venezuela had consistently embarked on a pattern of subversion, threats and intimidation. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro in May 2015 issued a decree, number 1787, laying an illegal claim to almost all of Guyana's maritime zone. A second decree, 1859, was issued by Venezuela in July 2015, reiterating its claim. By September that same year, Venezuelan gunboats and troops were deployed along Guyana's borders. In September 2015, there was an escalation of Venezuelan military activity in eastern Venezuela near to its border with Guyana. The government of Guyana strongly denounced this decree, calling it a flagrant violation of international law. On December 15, 2016, the former UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon informed the presidents of Guyana and Venezuela of his decision under Article 4.2 of the 1966 Geneva Agreement as to the means of settlement of the controversy between Guyana and Venezuela. In February 2017, United Nations Secretary-General Guterres named Norwegian lawyer and diplomat Dag Nylander as good officer to Georgetown and Caracas. On January 30, 2018, UN Secretary-General Guterres referred the matter to the ICJ for juridical settlement. Several experts in the field have weighed in with their views. Former Minister of Foreign Trade Henry Jeffrey says Guyana has a strong case as it moves to the ICJ to defend its territorial integrity and is confident that the court would rule in Guyana's favor.
I don't think Venezuela has any case at all. I mean, perhaps that's why it only wanted in the first place negotiations, because it has greater power than us. So I believe that Guyana should, for all I know, come out on top of this. At the end of the day, this court matter between Guyana and Venezuela, as far as I understand it, the court will give an opinion on the issue because it is being sent by a United Nations body. It's give a direct order when the matter is put to it by two parties. So it will be giving an opinion that Guyana, well, depends on who wins, but I think Guyana has a strong case.
As we await the next stage in the matter, it must be noted that President David Granger has been relentless in his lobbying of Guyana's case on the international platform in order to ensure that there is a juridical settlement of the decades-old controversy.